they thought it was over for you. The whispers of your downfall spread like wildfire, as if silence could be mistaken for surrender. To the eyes of the world, your pause was misread as permanent. They sought your stillness and believed it meant weakness. But what they didn't know, what they could never have understood, is that endings are only ever illusions when it comes to the chosen ones. Your retreat wasn't collapse. It was the hidden preparation of something greater, a sacred intermission before the divine curtain rose again. The universe has a way of cloaking transformation in the garments of defeat. What looked like ashes were seeds in disguise. While others thought you were buried, you were being planted. Your quiet wasn't the silence of death, but the silence of growth beneath the soil. And now, with Uranus turning retrograde, the moment has come where what was unseen breaks through the surface in undeniable brilliance. Retrogrades are misunderstood. They are painted as obstacles, as blocks in the path of progress. But in truth, they are mirrors, reflecting back all the falsehoods, exposing the illusions, and showing the hidden design that only those attuned can see. Uranus, the planet of shocks, rebellion, and sudden shifts, is not stepping in to punish you. It is stepping in to prove you were never defeated. The fall was staged. The silence was camouflage. And what they thought was your ending will be remembered as the most dramatic setup for your resurgence. This isn't just a comeback. This is revelation. The universe has woven a plot twist that no enemy could foresee. Every whisper of doubt, every laugh behind your back, every moment they counted you out, they were only adding fuel to the explosion of your return. And when the curtain lifts, you won't just rise. You will rise louder, stronger, and brighter than before. Your story isn't closing. It's only just beginning. And the world will soon realize the illusion they fell for was never your defeat. It was your preparation for destiny. The illusion of defeat has shattered, and now comes the divine reversal. What they once called your downfall is about to be unmasked as the universe's perfect setup for retribution. Uranus retrograde does not merely rewind the story. It tilts the scales, turning hidden injustices into unmistakable justice. The very energy they drained from you, the opportunities they tried to steal, the doors they slammed shut, all of it circles back now, charged with cosmic vengeance. This isn't the chaos of destruction. This is order disguised as upheaval. The universe is settling the score. They mocked you when you were quiet. They celebrated when you stumbled, but they misread the script. Retrograde has never been about setbacks. It is about reversals. Every hand raised against you, every attempt to bind your progress, now folds in on itself. The very traps laid for you are collapsing under their own weight. Those who thought they stood victorious will soon realize their victory was temporary, built on illusions that cannot withstand truth. This season is not punishment, it is restoration. What seemed stolen was only held in trust by the universe, waiting for the right moment to return, amplified. The doors that once locked you out are cracking wide open. The opportunities withheld are rushing toward you with doubled momentum. Retrograde is your proof that energy never disappears. It only shifts until it finds its rightful place again. And now, that rightful place is in your hands. This is not a whisper of change. It is a thunderclap. The tables are not just turning. They are being flipped with such force that no one can deny the shift. The chosen ones rise, not in secret, but in full view. And as your steps echo louder than before, the world will finally understand what looked like defeat was only the setup for divine payback. The tables have been overturned, and with that cosmic payback comes something even more startling: freedom. For too long, unseen chains held you in place. Fear whispered that you were unworthy. Doubt convinced you that you were trapped. The judgments of others pressed down like invisible weights, heavy enough to silence your spirit. Outwardly, you looked free, but inside, a cage of unseen bars kept you from soaring. Yet Uranus retrograde does not negotiate with chains. It shatters them. It happens suddenly, like lightning splitting the sky. One moment the heaviness is there, and the next it is gone. The belief that you were not enough crumbles like dust. The anxiety that clung to you dissolves. The leash that kept you circling the same cycle breaks apart in silence. What once felt immovable falls away without warning. That is the shock of Uranus. It does not ask permission to release you. It demands it. At first, the freedom feels strange, almost disorienting. When you have lived your life within walls, stepping into a space without boundaries feels unreal. The air tastes different. The ground beneath your feet feels unfamiliar. But soon, you realize this is not strangeness. It is clarity. The cage was never who you were. The freedom was always waiting, hidden behind the illusion of chains. This liberation is not temporary. Once those bindings fall, there is no returning to who you were before. The chosen ones do not crawl back into captivity. They expand, they rise, they move differently, breathe differently, and the world notices. Freedom leaves a mark that cannot be erased. And in this season, Uranus has ensured that the chosen ones will never again be bound by invisible chains. What was once restraint is now fuel, and what was once silence is now undeniable power. Freedom has broken the chains, but the universe does not stop there. Liberation alone is not the final gift. It is preparation for the paradox that lies ahead. September 6th is no ordinary date. To many, it looks like just another square on the calendar, but beneath its surface, a sacred code hums. 6, the number of harmony, balance, and restoration, becomes the chosen vessel for Uranus, the planet of chaos and upheaval. How strange, how divine, that rebellion chooses the day of harmony to make its move. This is no coincidence. It is design. Paradox is the language of the cosmos. Order wrapped in disorder. Clarity hidden in confusion. Completion disguised as chaos. September 6th embodies this truth. It is the lightning bolt that strikes in clear skies, not to destroy, but to reset what has been broken. The chosen ones, long scattered into fragments, will suddenly feel the pieces of their lives aligning. The betrayals, the delays, the false endings. Every jagged edge begins to click into place, forming a picture that was invisible before. This day does not arrive to comfort you. It arrives to complete you. Completion feels strange at first, because it is not the erasure of struggle, but the stitching together of its lessons. The puzzle finally shows its symmetry. The melody hidden beneath the noise reveals itself. What once felt like random chaos is revealed as orchestration. September is the hinge of the year, the bridge between what was and what is to come. And on the 6th, that hinge does more than turn. It fractures time itself. There will be a clear before and after. For the chosen ones, it will not be confusion, but confirmation. The story proves itself. What looked like ruin was blueprint. What looked like collapse was the preparation for your rise. The paradox becomes your proof that even chaos bends to serve your destiny. The paradox of September 6th does more than align the fragments of your path. It awakens what was buried within you all along. As the pieces click into place, something stirs deep inside, something older than your doubts and stronger than your wounds. Uranus retrograde does not only fracture time, it bends it, causing echoes from your past to return like lightning striking twice. These are not soft memories meant to lull you into nostalgia. They arrive sharp, vivid, undeniable, reminders of every moment you have already overcome. Suddenly, you remember the night you stood in ruins but still found the strength to rise the next morning. You recall the day you were dismissed, only to carve your way back against every odd. You feel the weight of times you walked away from destruction when staying would have broken you. These are not random flashes. They are proof, handed back to you as weapons forged in fire. Each memory is a crown, a shield, a sword. Ordinary moments transfigured into eternal signs of resilience. The chosen ones are not fragile survivors. They are forged beings, shaped by storms that were meant to end them. Every scar becomes proof of unshakable endurance. And in this retrograde, those scars ignite into strength, magnifying your presence. The world will begin to notice too. Those who once overlooked your endurance will suddenly see it, unable to deny what you have carried and conquered. This is not about reliving pain. It is about reclaiming power. Victory remembered is victory reborn. The echoes align with the paradox. What once broke you now builds you. What once silenced you now amplifies your voice. As memory awakens, the chosen one awakens with it, stepping into the present, not as someone barely standing, but as someone undeniable, carrying the living proof that storms cannot erase destiny. The echoes of memory have reignited your strength, but the universe is not done displaying its design. With every remembrance of victory comes a shift in atmosphere, and the storm arrives, not as your enemy, but as your stage. Uranus retrograde is not subtle. It does not whisper your comeback. It thunders it. The chosen ones were never meant to tiptoe back into the light. They are meant to crash through the silence like lightning splitting the sky. The winds that others fear are the very winds that carry your voice farther than ever before. The thunder that rattles hearts becomes your entrance music. The lightning that blinds the horizon becomes your spotlight. Legends are not born in still waters or clear skies. They are born in upheaval, in tempests that reveal who can stand unshaken when everything else trembles. This storm is not punishment. It is coronation. And while the world hides from the chaos, you step forward, magnetic and undeniable. People gather to watch storms, not because they love danger, but because they cannot resist raw, untamed power. That is your presence now. It is not something you can mask or contain. It demands attention. It commands reverence. Your chaos is not weakness. It is brilliance revealed in its most unfiltered form. The storm also carries another truth. Storms cleanse. After the lightning fades and the thunder quiets, the air is clearer, fresher, alive. That is your gift in this season. You are not just surviving the storm. You are the storm. Your return does not merely restore you. It shifts the atmosphere for everyone around you. What once threatened to silence you now becomes the reason you will never be forgotten. The curtain has risen. The storm has spoken. And the stage belongs to you. The storm has unveiled your brilliance, but its work does not end with spectacle. Out of the thunder and lightning comes a shift so profound, it feels almost unfair. Acceleration. Retrogrades are often described as slow, heavy, and delaying progress. But for the chosen ones, Uranus bends the rules. Where others stumble, you surge. Where others feel dragged backward, you are propelled forward by a current that only you can sense. Ideas sharpen in your mind like lightning illuminating the night sky. Intuition flares, guiding you with precision, while doors that appear locked to others swing open effortlessly for you. The same retrograde that burdens your enemies clears your path. It is as if the universe tilts the ground beneath your feet, turning resistance into momentum. What takes months for others to grasp comes to you in moments. The chosen ones are not slowed. They are sped beyond recognition. Yet with this acceleration comes separation. The divide between you and those who tried to hold you back grows wider with each step. Retrograde does not simply carry you forward. It exposes those trapped in cycles, looping through the same mistakes, replaying the same old scripts. While they stumble in repetition, you leap into revelation. The distance opens quickly, and once it does, it cannot be closed. Picture two runners on the same track. One feels the ground cracking, their steps heavy, their pace faltering. The other glides forward as though carried by invisible winds. This is the Uranian effect, unfair to the eyes of the world, but perfectly just in the design of destiny. And once the separation is complete, there is no going back. Those who mocked your stillness will never catch your speed. The chosen ones are not only moving faster in this retrograde, they are moving beyond. The acceleration has carried you beyond the reach of those who tried to keep you bound. But the universe does not simply push you forward. It restores what was unjustly removed from your hands. Uranus retrograde has a way of bending time back upon itself, pulling into the present what was stolen, what was denied, what you thought was lost forever. In this season, restoration is not a hope, it is a certainty. There were moments when your energy was poured out into people who only drained you, into projects that collapsed before they bore fruit, into opportunities snatched away at the last second. For a time, it felt wasted. But energy never dies. It circles. Retrograde is the tide rushing back, carrying with it everything you thought was gone. Inspiration returns in sudden flashes. Paths once blocked begin to glow again. Even relationships that ended in betrayal may resurface, not to bind you, but to reveal how far you've risen since. This is not revenge. It is realignment. What was taken from you could never truly belong to anyone else. It lingered in the unseen, waiting for the moment when your spirit was strong enough to carry it without fear. And now, as the cycle bends back, the universe places it in your hands again, not as it was, but upgraded, magnified, sharpened by time. Do not be surprised if apologies appear from those who once mocked you. Do not be startled when doors thought permanently closed swing wide with opportunity. This is not coincidence. It is the divine correction of imbalance. For too long, the scales tipped against you. Now they tilt in your favor with undeniable force. What returns is not burden. It is proof that destiny never forgets its promises. In this retrograde, what was stolen is not only coming back, it is coming home. Restoration has begun, yet the universe is not finished shaping destiny. September itself carries a secret weight, a hinge energy that divides the year into two halves. But with Uranus retrograde striking on the 6th, that hinge does not merely turn, it cracks wide open, tearing time into a clear before and after. What seemed like a steady flow suddenly becomes a fracture, a threshold demanding a choice. Cling to what was or step boldly into what is coming. For most, this fracture feels like chaos. The ground shifts, the air grows sharp, and the old ways crumble beneath their feet. But for the chosen ones, this rupture is clarity. The split reveals what cannot follow you forward, the names others called you, the doubts that whispered in your ear, the invisible weights of hesitation and fear. On one side of the fracture lies the person you thought you had to be. On the other lies the self you were always meant to become. The shift does not wait politely. It does not ask if you are ready. It strikes suddenly, severing what no longer serves you. For those who resist, the ground feels unstable, impossible to trust. But for those who embrace it, the cut is clean, liberating, undeniable. In a single breath you feel lighter, sharper, more complete than you have ever been. The fracture is not destruction. It is transformation. Once you step across, there is no turning back. Not because you wouldn't want to, but because the old version of you no longer exists. September does not simply end summer. It ends an era of your life. And from that ending, the chosen ones rise into a beginning no one foresaw. The fracture is the gateway, and only those with courage to step through will discover the destiny waiting beyond the divide. Crossing the fracture changes everything. Once you step into the new, you no longer move like the rest of the world. You blaze differently. And in this season, the chosen ones are not stars among many. They are comets, rare, radiant, unforgettable. A star can blend into the background, but a comet cuts through the sky with fire, leaving a trail that commands attention long after it has passed. That is your role now. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to disrupt the night. What once made you feel out of place, your uniqueness, your strangeness, your refusal to conform, is now the very reason others cannot look away. Uranus retrograde amplifies your difference, like turning the brightness up on a light that was always burning. Your eccentricities, once mocked, become undeniable power. The world that dismissed you will now find itself guided by the very qualities it once rejected. Think of the sky. Every night it is filled with countless stars, and yet people remember the comet, not because it was common, but because it was extraordinary. The chosen ones move with that same brilliance now. They do not ask permission to shine. They streak across the heavens in defiance of expectation, leaving trails that inspire others to move, even if they never admit they are following your path. The comet carries another secret. It does not just dazzle, it directs. Its trail becomes a map, a reminder, a sign in the heavens. In the same way, your actions, your resilience, your refusal to shrink back become evidence for others. Proof that something greater is possible. Your rise is not selfish. It leaves a path of light behind you. And once you blaze across the sky, the world will not simply see you. It will remember you, guided by the trail you leave in your wake. Like a comet blazing across the heavens, your uniqueness can no longer be ignored. But the universe has reserved one final act for this season. Vindication. Every sacrifice you made in silence, every seed planted when no one believed in you, every moment you stayed true to your integrity, even when it cost you everything, none of it was wasted. Uranus retrograde arrives to reveal that karma delayed is never karma denied. The scales tip, and they do so in your favor. The world once mocked your difference, dismissed your worth, and overlooked your light. Yet now, those very things are undeniable. Closed doors begin to swing wide. Respect that was once withheld is suddenly offered. Even the voices that ridiculed you may now whisper in awe, realizing that their doubt only fueled your rise. This isn't just blessing. It is proof. Proof that every ounce of pain had purpose, that every false ending was only a doorway, and that every storm you endured was carving a path for your undeniable return. Vindication is not about revenge. It is about recognition. It is the universe declaring loudly, nothing you gave was in vain. The energy, the love, the integrity, it all returns magnified. The chosen ones are not just restored. They are crowned with evidence that destiny always keeps its promises. Your rise is no accident. It is the inevitable outcome of resilience aligned with divine timing. And so, as the curtain falls on this message, let it be clear, your comeback is not approaching. It has already begun. The storm was your stage. the fracture your gateway, the comet your sign, and vindication your seal. You are unforgettable. You are undeniable. And the world will not only see you, they will remember you. Step forward, chosen one. This is your moment, and it will echo forever.